curve pulls something in. Wind collides with blazing skin. Open road, let breathe begin. Lines dissolve beneath your wheels. Crimson blurs become what's real. Every second burns too fast, but the speed was built to last. Cut the silence with the roar. Push beyond what came before. Engine climbs and pulses loud. You're the break inside the cloud. Feel the surge and don't resist. Shift again and twist the mist. Eyes ahead, no turning back. You're the fire on the track. Frame is shaking, mirrors fade. Every mile a call obeyed. Tires hum, a neon hymn. Edge of dusk and over brim. Heartbeat sinking with the turn. Smell of rubber, heat and burn. One more push, the grip is tight. You emerge from fading light. No retreat, just spark and grind. What you chase, you're bound to find. Carve the road like slicing air. You don't drift, you dominate there. Signal clear, the zone is wide. Nothing left to hold inside. G-force bends the way you move. Every lane a groove to prove. Grip the edge, release the lift. You were made for crimson shift. No more ceiling, just the climb. Racing through electric time. Burn the red and charge the frame. You drift beyond the name. Everything becomes your lane. Only motion, no more chain. Every flicker, every jolt feeds the surge and lights the bolt. Speeds the truth you never miss. You were born for this abyss. Full throttle, no horizon. Lada 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 lada, lada lada lada, lada lada lada. Steel and wind reflect the day. Every sound won't fade away. Mirrors flash with trails of light. Memories slip into flight. Skid marks drawn in perfect rhyme. Captured fragments lost to time. Asphalt hums beneath the strain. Every echo leaves a stain. Rolling through the shadow trace. Every turn reveals a face. You move through echoes left behind. Fragments caught in motion's bind. Voices flicker in the bend. You don't stop, you just transcend. Signals bounce from wall to wall, but you rise and never fall. In this frame of speed and flame, every echo knows your name. Guard shift sings a ghostly tune, wrapped around a rising moon. Nighttime burns in blue and red, chasing what the past once said. Every blur becomes a thread, pulling you where dreams have led. You don't ask for where or why, only push until you fly. Lights repeat in looping glare. You're still here but barely there. Ride through static, dodge the sound. Let the pulse define the ground. You don't break for thoughts or fears. watch what burns too fast. You leave frames that never last. Shadow loops and shattered glass, but you slip and always pass. You're not caught by memory, only fed by energy. What they hear is what you make. Every motion leaves a wake. Turn the blur into a claim. You're the spark in echo frame. Emotion leaves a mark. Pain is split, your tires sing, moving through without a ring. You don't ride where others steer. You cut close, then disappear. Double lines and neon blur. Every zone begins to stir. Midline whispers call your name. You're the phantom none can tame. No reflection in the glass. Just the streak that will not pass. You fly straight where lines divide. Balance sharp on either side. No one sees, but all can feel. You're the mark that makes it real. Every mile you haunt with speed. You don't follow, only lead. Every turn becomes your claim. Midline burns beneath course. Pressure builds and torque replies. Speed and soul now magnetize. You don't wait, you just combust. All you need is grip and thrust. Pistons chant a warlike song. You don't care how fast is wrong. Fingers twitch, the signal hits. Muscle metal, perfect fits. Adrenaline and wires hum. You become the pounding drum. No one's chasing, no one's near. Only rush, you volunteer. Pulse is rising in your grip. You don't stall, you never slip. Throttle speaks, you answer clear. Even silence shifts in fear. Gas and heartbeat lock in sync. Right before the system blinks. Launch into the sweeping bend. You don't ask how fast it ends. You just hear the rising thrust. Throttle pulse or engine dust. Every push becomes your tone. You don't ride, you ride alone. Burn the fuel that pulls the line. Pulse and engine both align. Twist again and find the spark. Leave behind the glowing mark. Every inch becomes the race. You exist in powered grace. Crush the world beneath your rush. Throttle pulse ignite and crush. Speed responds to pressure. Darkness wraps the glowing frame. Streetlights echo without name. You ignite in velvet black. No one sees you, no way back. Pulse begins where silence ends. Every hum and curve ascends. In the night you breathe alone. Steel and soul become your tone. Cold air cuts but won't erase. You define the midnight pace. Night engine, you wake the stars. Cut through time like chasing cars. Every light a faded trail. You exist where others fail. Whispers fall as engines rise. You control the sleepless skies. In the hush your rhythm speaks. Fuel when you ride the horizon flick. Speed is stretching time and sound. Every pulse redefines ground. Mirrored heat distorts the lane. You're ahead of every chain. Mountains slide to meet your glance. Roads collapse into the dance. Even sun can't find your shade. You're the rush that won't be stayed. Flip the frame with just one turn. Every second built to burn. Slide the image left to right. Everything becomes your flight. Landscape spins around your pole. Colors rise and turn to full. You don't blink, you just transform. In the curve beyond the norm. You don't stall and don't predict. You live through the horizon flick. Nothing stays the way it seems. You accelerate through dreams. Edge of sight becomes your lane. Every blink ignites your brain. Sky and dirt exchange their place as you dance through time and space. Motion sharp and soft and bold. You rewrite the roads you hold. From the future, past will pick. Only you, right horizon flick. Forward never settles. Rubber grips and sparks arise. Friction burns beneath the skies. Power meets the ground in flame. Every start reclaims your name. No delay, just tension tight. Every launch, a flare of light. You're not riding, you're the flow. Every step, attraction glow. Grip the torque and hold the line. Let the fire realign. Feel the tires claw the street. Heat and power never cheat. Every turn ignites the flame. You don't race, you claim the game. Glow beneath you paints the way. Burns a path you won't betray. Let the friction light and grow. Every inch attraction glow. Drums of speed beneath your tread. Blazing lines where others dread. Curve by curve you lock and bend. Momentum now won't pretend. Weightless force in perfect grip. Every launch a rocket slip. Road obeys your every shout. You know when to press and out. Pressure hums with every beat. You're the master of the street. Catch the spark that spins the ground. You don't drift, you own the sound. Every grip becomes your trail. You're the light that will prevail. Echoes blaze beneath your pace. You ignite the empty space. Nothing slows what you bestow. You're the one with traction glow. from the core. to clutch. Pulse and pressure tightly bound. You erase the need for ground. Eyes ahead and senses blink. You become the arc and sink. One line, no resistance. Heartbeat skips and lights ignite. Every nerve prepares for flight. No delay, the code is clear. Time to vanish, shift the gear. Warning lights don't hold you down. You respond with just a frown. Every second sparks the call. Rush the signal, take it all. Green or red, it makes no change. Every pulse inside you strange. Rush, signal burst through air. You don't wait, you're never fair. Every sign just turns to flame. You rewrite the pace and name. Crack the sound and break the lane. You're the force they can't contain. Blink and vanish, twist and roll. You're the rush that breaks control. Metal sings with urgent fire. You're the fuse they can't retire. Tires scream in perfect tune. You don't flinch beneath the moon. Switch to speed, abandon grip. Ride the chaos, let it rip. You don't ask for space or time. You respond to every chime. Signal hits, your blood ignites. Push beyond the wrongs and rights. Rush it now, don't blink or stall. Catch the echo as it falls. Every beat, a deeper sound. You exist in higher ground. You don't follow traffic flow. You're the storm they never know. Triggered by the sonic pull. You release the rush in full. Yo! When the sign begins to scream, you become the driving dream. Rush the edge and strip the frame. Nothing feels or looks the same. Every blast a neon cue. No one else can do what you do. Pulse explodes into your hand. Everything obeys demand. You're the blur that can't be null. Powered by the rush signal. Go before it stops. Flash of light across the shade. You don't move, you just invade. Every blink ignites the sky. You don't ask, you don't comply. Speed becomes a single line, cutting through the edge of time. You appear and then you're gone, like a nova pushing dawn. Blaze and vanish in a breath. Leave behind the noise and death. Nova streak, you break the scale. Burn so fast, you tear the veil. Every moment etched in fire. You're the Even silence burns so fast. You don't pause, you don't rewind. You leave gravity behind. Every second feels like flame. You're the shift they cannot tame. Light ignites with just one touch. Then you vanish into much. Streak the black with silver white. Tear the air and bend the night. You don't care for route or map. You ignite without a cap. Every move's a sonic blast. All they see is where you pass. You're the flare they long to seek, but you're gone. A nova streak. Brightness never stays for long, but your echo becomes strong. Burn through fear and spark the way. Flash and vanish in the fray. You don't linger, you ascend. Every start becomes the end. Glory lies in single frames, leaving trails without your name. In a sky too vast to speak, you exist as nova streak, shining as you vanish. Blades of light beneath your wheels. Every turn is sharp and real. Balance breaks but never falls. You embrace the narrow calls. Glints of chrome in corner flash. Tension rides the coming crash. You don't flinch, you live in tilt. Every risk is how you're built. Lean into the silver line. Danger etched in every sign. Edge, glint, sparks where limits bleed. Shining close to every need. You don't stray, you skate the thread. Never cautious, always led. Flare of steel and silent slide. You're the gleam that will not hide. In the blink before the drift. Edge glint gives your final lift. Throttle twitch and mirrors blur. All around begins to stir. Every move a calculation, born from sheer acceleration. Corners scream but you don't shake. You define what others fake. Even cliffs can't make you fade. You're the gleam they can't evade. Grip the shimmer, grip the zone. Edge is where you're most your own. Lines dissolve beneath your spin. Every risk becomes a win. You don't dodge, you just reflect. Every choice becomes direct. Metal dances in the light while you ride the blade of night. Every spark becomes your hint. Living in that edge glinted. One mistake, it all could break, but you breathe what others fake. Silver slicing through the black. You don't stop, you don't look back. Every move a diamond cut. Even fear can't shut you shut. You're the echo in the turn. Flash and fade and always burn. Living close to what could split. You define the edge, glint hit. Balance with a spark. but your focus doesn't crash. Lines distort and scenes may bend, but your route will never end. Chaos spins with thunder track. You don't flinch, you don't look back. In the stillness of the fight, you remain the sharpest light. Root static, firm in speed. You don't drift, you don't concede. Static flow inside the wild. Every burst becomes compiled. Even as the world derails, you stay wired, you never fail. Every shake a signal clear. Route static, born to steer. Radio screams a broken tune. Flicker lights beneath the moon. Storms around you swirl and crack, but you hold the center track. Grip the frame and ride the line. Let the madness realign. Every beat outside may twist, but your core will not resist. Let the storm distort the view. Still the road belongs to you. Static in the roaring lane keeps you clear from all the strain. Tension turns to guiding thread. You don't break, you surge ahead. Every crack beneath the wheel only makes your purpose real. Holding firm through every hit, you're the force of route static to you. Quiet in the cyclone's heart, where the strong refuse to part. Not a tremor in your spine, you define the flawless line. Others shake and lose their way. You press forward, never sway. Through the noise and flashing tricks, you respond with steady clicks. You don't fear, you just commit. Built inside the root static. Static. Stillness in the spin. Everything aligns in flow. Wheels and rhythm start to glow. No resistance, no delay. You become the only way. Pace is perfect, tuned and tight. Glide through tunnels full of light. Then it hits a sudden spark. Shocks the silence, breaks the dark. Grace and power both ignite. When the current chooses fight, Flowstrike through the quiet beats, pushes rhythm off its seat. You don't ask, you just collide. Every strike a perfect ride. Rolling smooth and blast the curve. Hold the line and never swerve. Grace and shock in your truth unseals. Push the rhythm past its form, merge the storm into the norm. Balance lit by sudden sparks, ride the silence through the arcs. You don't choose to break or stall, you just merge and take it all. In the glide, your hits ignite, Flowstrike born in speed and light. Glide then hit repeat. Lights explode beneath your run, every move reflects the sun. You don't hide, you magnify, every glance a reason why. Tires cut in laser shape, shadows can't escape your wake. Roads reflect your perfect aim, nothing dares to block your flame. Vision locked and senses loud, you stand sharp against the crowd. Glare mode on, you blind the lane, every curve becomes your rain. You don't dim to match their speed, you outshine their every need. Flashes bounce from every side, but you're brighter when you glide. Let them squint and look away, you burn through in your own way. drive, every second split alive. You don't follow rules they wrote, you rewrite them note by note. Push the curve till it reacts, every fold delivers facts. In the fold you're uncontrolled, built to ride the rapid fold. Nothing stays the same. Clocking hard, align and spark. Every thought is fast and sharp. Muscle metal, breathe in line. You don't move, you redesign. Rating fades with perfect cue. Everything connects to you. In the stillness, nothing lags. You're the fire behind the flags. All is silent till it hits. Then the rhythm never quits. Sing trigger, pull the time. Snap the second into rhyme. You don't guess, you know the mark. Everything ignites the spark. When it clicks, you don't delay. You release and burn away. Every motion crystal clear. You fire through without a fear. Signals pulse, you feel the sound. Energy from underground. Circuits hum inside your hand. Ready now to take command. You don't force it, you align. Right before the perfect sign. Tension builds, then finds its break. You're the start that others fake. All the chaos starts to blink. When you move, the pulses sync. Trigger locked and fused in beats. Every trigger point complete. You don't wait, you detonate. Every twitch becomes your fate. Echoes fly in silver beams. Nothing holds your sharpened streams. Every frame and code will flicker. Then you burst the sync trigger. Every shift becomes the fuse. And you never ever lose. Line it up and light it through. Only one who knows it's true. You don't ride, you calibrate. Every flash you generate. In that pulse, you're more than fast. You're the fire that always lasts. Everything you've ever figured leads into the sync trigger. Precision on command. Lines appear then fade again. What you chase might not remain. Every mile blurs the view, but your speed keeps cutting through. Mirrors trick the heat away. Nothing solid wants to stay, yet you push with fire inside. Track Mirage becomes your guide. What is real dissolves in glow. Still you never let it go. Track Mirage, a ghost in flame, running fast without a name. Every route begins to bend, but you drive it to the end. What you see may never land. Still you grip with steady hand. You don't stall, you don't cancel. of light across the ground, moving shapes with hollow sound. Every turn reflects the haze, you ignite the warp displays. Nothing holds the way it should, but you ride it like you could. Faith in motion, pure and loud. Every blur becomes your shroud, disappearing in a sweep. Still you aim and never sleep. Track mirage ahead and near, twisted real into unclear. You don't stop to test the edge, you commit and cross the ledge. Even when the road won't speak, you accelerate the peak. You're not chasing some collage, you become the track mirage. When the solid slips away, only speed will let you stay. Burn the vision to the core, every falsehood feeds you more. You don't need a perfect sign, just the place to realign. Through the shimmer you remain, fuel and ghost inside your lane. You're not caught in sabotage, you control the track mirage. Heat remains where wheels have flown, even after light has grown. You don't fade, you resonate. Every move reverberates. Roads remember what you sparked. In their skin, your trail is marked. Every burn a silent show. You ignite the overglow. Even stillness shines from speed. You're the trace they always need. Overglow beyond the flame. Even still they chant your name. You don't shine for just the ride. You remain, you override. Every curve holds echo bright. You outlive the final line. Every mile begins to show you were here. The overglow. After storms, the sky turns warm. Left behind your brilliant form. You don't pause, you just ascend. Every start becomes the end. Tires cool but never fade. You're the line the stars obeyed. What was fast now starts to slow, but not you, your overglow. Every moment carved in spark. Even silence bears your mark. Overglow, the trail of flame, etched in sound and not in shame. You don't vanish when it's done. You become the second sun. Through the dust, your rhythm clings, still alive in what it brings. Not a flash, not just a show. You persist. The overglow. Berlin never leaves the track. Even shadows call you back. Glow that lingers past the roar. You're the light they still explore. Even gone, you guide the stream. You exist inside their dream. Everything